You want to write a great script, but you can't do that if you're stuck trying to figure out which script to write. There are really two versions of this question. I have a bunch of ideas, which one should I put my effort into? Or, I don't think my ideas are good enough. Is there any of them that's worth doing? What's interesting about both of those is they kind of miss the point. Who told you the idea is what matters? I'm going to let you in on a secret. There is no such thing as a bad idea for a story. It's what you do with an idea that makes it good or bad. Now, I know that many writing gurus and advisors will say the exact opposite, but in my experience, what they're talking about is what they think will sell. It certainly never hurts to work in the same genre as recent hits, or to take on a trending topic or aim at a demographic that the business is hungry to win over. But writing only to please a market is a sure path to mediocre writing. Really good work is truly your best chance at success. And really good work comes from discovering and working from your own vision and values. And you know what else comes from doing that? Understanding that there are many different definitions of that word, success. So let's forget about that magic bullet idea and talk about other ways to choose what you're going to write. First, name your goal. Figure out what it is you're trying to accomplish by writing this project. Make it something specific that you can do in the script. For example, some technique you haven't tried yet, like multiple main characters or flashbacks. Or your take on a certain genre. Or to get better at a specific skill, like dialogue or description or plotting. Or passion for the content. If you have a statement to make or a story you just love and you need to get it on the page. Or maybe even to have something to direct or star in if you're an actor or director and you want to work ultra low budget. And honestly, often you just want to see if you can do it, if you can get a whole script written. And that's a fine goal. You may have noticed none of those are selling the script or getting an agent, because those aren't actually writing goals. Those are results, which may or may not happen for a lot of different reasons, but they aren't actually something you can write in a script. This goal I'm talking about is just for you and just for this project. It's not something that others will care about or even know about. And you can have more than one goal for a project, but prioritize. Make a list and put one at the top. And do that in writing. You're a writer, write it down so that later when you feel doubt and you're saying, what's the point? Why am I even doing this? Which you will say because we all say it. You can look at what you wrote down and go, that's the point. That's the goal. This is why I am doing this. This is how I will decide whatever I'm trying to figure out. And because this goal is just for you and just for this project, you can and should make it reasonable. Make it a goal you can reach. Sure, it should be a challenge, but can you imagine some kind of practical current reality where you do this? If you can't, scale it back until you can. The theory that you should set the highest possible goals or goals that are outside your reach, this is not a helpful theory for artists. I don't really know who that theory is helpful for. I'm guessing it's for people who get other people to do the actual work. Artists work in the here and now. Each day's work is a step on a path. If you make the step bigger than you can reach, you're going to fall down. It's hard enough to do art. Small steps take you a long way. Choose a project you can do at this moment in your life. Is this a goal I can reach is a good question to ask when you're trying to figure out what to write. Here are some others. Will it be interesting for you? You don't write a script all at once. especially if you're doing it after or before work or classes or putting the kids to bed. So you need to stay interested in this thing in detail over time. Do you like it? Would you enjoy watching or reading it? A lot of people choose projects because they think they will be popular. But seriously, you have to actually like your own work. It's just too hard to do if you're only doing it to win friends and influence people. You are the first and in many ways most important audience. Write something you love, which will also help you face this question. Will you feel good about it even if it fails? The good thing about setting a small personal goal is everything else is outside of your control. If you also want it to sell or get an agent or win a contest, and of course you do, that's fine. Just be okay with having done it, even if those results outside of your control don't happen. This is seriously my best advice on this topic. Write something that you will be glad you wrote, even if it completely fails. Now, even with all this brilliant advice, sometimes you still just can't decide. You don't know how you really feel, or every choice you make seems wrong the next day. When that happens, try this. Start to make it real. Get into it a little. Make some notes, start an outline, see how you feel. Give it a week or a month, see how it goes. Consider a bargain. One for you, one for them. Many writers deal with the inevitable conflict between personal and business goals by trading off, defining some projects as for them, doing everything you can to fit the formula or follow the how to succeed advice of teachers or agents, and then sometimes taking the time to write a project purely for personal pleasures and challenges, even though you know it's commercially ridiculous. You'd be surprised how good you can get at both sides of that game. Or do 2 projects. This helps me a lot because the thing I'm not doing always looks better than the one I am doing. So I keep a couple of projects going at the same time. Usually one is the main one and the others are not as developed, still in the notes and outline stage. The way this works is more like a checkerboard, really, than actually working on 2 things at the same time. You work on one for a little bit, then you switch over, then after a while you switch back. It helps take the pressure off of both of them. But this only works if you are ruthlessly honest with yourself and say you do have to push one of them through to the end, and you can't juggle too many. So, keep a folder of ideas and possible projects. If you don't get ideas very often, then it's really important to grab them when you do. And if you have too many ideas, writing them down is the start of a process of organizing and prioritizing. Either way, it's very important to write them down when you have them and keep them in a place where you can find and organize them easily. By the way, here's the other thing you should know about choosing what to write. It's not a problem, it's a privilege. Professionals almost never get to do it. Most writers and actors and directors don't get to choose their projects. They're just trying to get jobs. So enjoy the power of choosing. Now, if you remember at the start of this video, I said there were 2 kinds of not knowing what to write. And we've been talking about the one where you have a bunch of ideas and you can't choose which one. But now let's go to the dark side. If you can't decide what to write because everything you think of doesn't seem good enough, if you don't like or believe in everything that you think of, then the problem is you don't like or believe in you. Look into self-help articles or books or therapy. If you feel like that's shameful or weak or a waste of time, it's not. The instrument that a writer works with is their mind, so you need to work on maintaining and improving that instrument. You can't just keep looking for a better song. Self-help is part of the writing process. It's just stuff you have to keep doing so you can figure out how to do what you want to do. And facing everything with an attitude of trying and exploring and changing and growing makes all the difference. Okay, now that is going to take time. So, while you are working on you and not yet believing that you are any good, I suggest, if you don't believe you're any good, do it anyway. Choose something because it's good practice or because it's short. Flip a coin or throw a dart at a list of ideas if you have to. Be as good as you are right now. Start from there. That's all any writer could do, actually. Be as good as you are. There will be some good in that. Ask yourself, what is good for you to do now? I know, that sounds like duh, that's what we were asking you, but that's why I capitalized some words there. Is it good for you? Not for the business, not for the history of art, for you and your reality at this stage in your development and abilities and your situation right now. Because creating something bad is better than creating nothing. A lot of you are going to have a problem with that, but you're wrong. For one thing, nothing creative is ever all good or all bad. And for another thing, honestly, what do you even mean by good or bad? Think about what that standard is and why you are using it to destroy yourself. Ease the f*** up. This is not the trolley problem. The trolley problem is when you have to make a choice between running over one person or a bunch of people. And nobody is dying here. This is just not that important. All artists make some bad art. It's just not a big deal. Get over it. Get on with it. Go write something. If you like this video and subscribe to this channel. Leave me comments, ask me questions in the comments section of this video, or go to writingforscreens.com. I'm focusing. Which will also help. It helps to I wish I knew what I was supposed to say. So enjoy the power. The power. Fight the power. Okay. The instrument. Okay, so